Hello everyone, this is my review of LEGO Icons, the Shire, and here it is. We're just gonna open this up. LEGO has these new boxes that they have. They show how to open them. I don't really know why you need that, but they have these new boxes. Not too much of a fan, but whatever. I don't really care about the packaging, I just care what's inside, you know? Anyway, opening this up, and there we have it, the Shire. Now this set has 2017 pieces and retails for $270. Ooh. We're going to find out whether that price tag is worth it. Let's unbox this thing. Here we are going into it, opening the box. Inside we are already greeted with some wonderful plastic bags. And there we have it. This set I think has like 13 or 14, 15 actually. That's probably the amount this actually has. Inside here will be our little cloth pieces, which it wasn't any protective thing, so I'm glad that this is still like straight. And inside we'll also find our birthday banner along with Gandalf's cape. And here is our instruction manual and sticker sheet inside. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the minifigs, these spectacular minifigs. The first minifigures that we're going to talk about are the Proudfoots. First, we're going to go with Miss Proudfoot over here. As we can see, for her accessory, she has a radish, which is the carrot element in white, and we have the just regular carrot piece for the leaves there. She has an exclusive torso print, as well as this new mold for her skirt, and the designer said they want it to be more like down because of her age, and I think that works well here. She has just the same dual molded legs as Mr. Proudfoot, and as many of the hobbits do. She has this new hair piece up here for Wendy, and that was actually recolored from Wendy. And I think this is funny. She has Arthur Weasley's head right here. And we have like the Arthur Weasley smile and then the classic frowning face of Arthur Weasley on this side. I think that's hilarious. Now, we're going to take a look at Mr. Proudfoot. Looking at him, he has the hobbit legs that I just said, and he has a broom for his accessory. And he has the traditional hobbit hairpiece. And we can see he has a new torso print right there. That's pretty cool. And we have some nice back printing on him, and he has the horse Slugworth face from Harry Potter, and I think that's funny for him to like be like concerned a little. Oh, oops, I'll get that in a second. And then we have a nice smile face for him on the other side. Our next minifigure is Rosie Cotton, and she's definitely a needed character in this set. She looks nice with her curly hair up here, because all hobbits have like naturally curly hair, and she has that element. It's just longer, and I think that looks nice. We have this face here, we used from Harry Potter, a nice smile on this side, and a little bit of a more calm expression on this side. And all of the characters in this set have exclusive torsos except for Gandalf, so I think that's pretty nice. And Rosie here, she has her nice blouse right there, and we can see some nice back printing there for the corset, or whatever it's called, I think that's that. Anyway, we have the nice dress element here in dark blue, and we have new legs here that these are actually the same ones that Frodo has, and this is the first time that they're introduced in LEGO, so it's nice to see them used here, and it definitely makes sense to put them on Rosie. Our next minifigures are Merry and Pippin, and I think they do look pretty good. On the left, we can see that Merry has the usual hobbit legs, the same as Pippin, and they both sport new and exclusive torso prints here. Pippin, he has this nice green vest with like some gold frills on it with a white undershirt, and Merry over here, he has a nice more checkered shirt design, and of course the white undershirt. He has a little apple because in the movie, after they steal the fireworks and get off cart, Merry bites into an apple, so that's a fitting inclusion for his accessory. They have the nice hobbit hair pieces with the curly hair, and the faces are, this side is the exact same as the Rivendell version, but on both sides of the figures we can see that they have the face for when they've exploded the fireworks. And this is not all. They actually also both include the charred hairpiece for after they've blown up the fireworks, and I think that's just really fun, so that you can have this with your figures after they've just blown up your fireworks, which that is included, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Next, we have Frodo and Sam, and I think they look pretty good. Looking at Frodo over here, he has those legs that I showed you with Rosie, the dark blue and light nougat, or whatever it's called, molding for it. And we can see he has a new design for his torso print there with a white undershirt, and like this nice, I like this nice like flowery design. I think that looks pretty cool. And
looking at his face, you can see that this side is a new design from Rivendell. It's a nice, really happy smile, toothy grin. And then this face is the same side that we've seen for all the Frodo minifigures of this new revival of Lord of the Rings. Now, Sam, on the other hand, he's a little bit more bland. The only thing special about him is just this torso print. I mean, it does look good and all, but I really wish that we'd gotten to see, like, a new face print for him. That would have been nice, because this is the exact same version that we can see in Rivendell, both sides. And I'll just go ahead and show you all that version. We have this, like, stern face on this side, and then a more happy face on the other. And I just wish that we'd gotten something better, but oh well, it is what it is. Our next two minifigures are Gandalf the Grey and Bilbo Baggins, and, well, these are also our last two minifigures, and I gotta say, Bilbo is definitely the favorite over here. He has the traditional Hobbit legs that we've been using. He has the One Ring, of course, and there's an ability with that later, but we'll talk about that actually after these figures. And he has a new torso print here with, like, the party design underneath and a nice, like, red overcoat. You can see his buttons in the back. And he has a nice grin over here with, like, the dark brown face in light gray. And if you turn it around, we can see this nice, great smile. Now, looking over at Gandalf, we can see that he is pretty much the same exact figure from Rivendell. Same skirt print there, torso, everything's the same, except for this new face print. Looking at this face, I can definitely say this is quite an improvement from Rivendell. It is, I mean, I think that the original Gandalf face is probably the best one that we've had, but this is still much better of an improvement over Rivendell, and honestly, I got no complaints. Here is the section where Bilbo Baggins disappears forever, as they say in Hobbiton, and looking at it, we can see it does look pretty good, although it's almost exactly symmetrical, and that's probably one of my least favorite things about it. We have some nice green grass growing up around it, and of course everything's symmetrical. We have a Happy Birthday Bilbo Baggins thing up here. This is a little printed, nice printed tapestry, and that looks pretty nice. We can have Bilbo right here, and he has some barrels behind him, and you can see he's holding the ring, and if you push a little lever at the back, if I do it a little faster, hold on. There we go. So if you do it really fast, then he can just, like, instantly disappear. I just had to get the hang of it. But anyway, just looking at that, I think it's really fun. And although that is the thing right there, if you do it too fast, he may, like, come off. But other than that, I think it's a pretty cool function, and that's one of my favorite parts of this. But the real thing that's the horrible part is the tree that's on this. Looking at the back, we can see that there's this tree here, and you can just go ahead and pop it off like so. And looking at this, it's so blocky. It's out of Minecraft. We can see at least some nice party lights on it, and the tree is just, it's so atrocious. And I'm gonna get the camera higher for y'all to look at this. Up here, though, this is a good part. We can see, we can see that we have the dragon firework that Merry and Pippin shoot off, and it uses some nice Ninjago fire dragon elements for the wings, as well as some other fire elements spattered throughout this, and I think it looks good and pretty accurate to what we see in the Fellowship of the Ring. But again, this tree is just atrocious. Like, I don't know why any reason. Like, in Rivendell, we have all those beautiful trees, and even, like, the one on top of Bag End, it's not the best, but it's a lot better than this. And I don't know why the designer thought that this was a good idea to put in this set. Like, a tree is necessary, but not one this blocky. I don't know why they decided to do this. Now we move on to the main attraction, and that is, of course, Bag End. And at first glance, this thing, it really is a beautiful model. The rolling hills that we can see through here, to the different types of plant designs that they went through the vines, the Wolverine claws in green, and this is one of my, I'm neutral about that, but it's still a plant. We have different types. We have the pumpkin pasture up there, a little pumpkin guard right there, a fence right here, plants, just so much happening through this. I'm just gonna work left to right, and we're just gonna go through this. Looking at the left side, you build this section in Bag 2, and we can see we have some nice of a little cobblestone fence coming up through here, and we have a little bit of bushes here using some of those, like the explosion elements that I showed you earlier with Merry and Pippin, and we can see that they have stuck some flower elements on those, and it looks nice. We have like a little bird feeder or a lamp or whatever this is. I don't really know, but it's cool. We have a nice window over here, which if you go through the inside, you can open that up, and we can have Samwise Gamgee out here, and he can be trimming the hedges as he tells Gandalf, which who knows if he was actually doing that. I think he was, but who knows. But on this side, we can see a nice window using some printed elements, and those are pretty nice. We don't really get that these days, and you know, Star Wars. But anywho, whatever. We have a nice chimney up here, and there's some functionality built into this, and we'll take a look at that in a little bit inside. You have a nice little clothes line up here, and that looks pretty fun. Moving on over, we can see a nice bird up here, another chimney up here. And looking over, we're going to take a look at the middle section right now, and move my camera over. We can see that we have a taller plant here, and that one is definitely my second favorite in this set. And my watch is doing something funny there, guys. But anyway, we can see a nice vine going up through there. That looks pretty cool using those flower elements. Just a lot of nature going on. And here we have some nice vegetables, and these are some newer elements going on here, like these little cabbage pieces. I've never seen these before. They may be in other sets, but I don't know. They're new in my collection, at least. And anyway, looking at this, we're just going to go ahead and move the angle and get a nice front stage. Looking at the front, we can see some intricate design for the fence here. I love the use of the Lego boomerang piece as the pricket fence, and that's just a cool technique to me. Look over here, we can see some newer elements being utilized for a mailbox, and we can see a sticker on this for no admittance except on party business. You can swing it inwards, but not too much, and we can see a little cobblestone path leading up to the door up there. And we can also see over here my favorite plant in the set, and that is this new sunflower piece that they've introduced. I think it's just a really cool element, and yeah. So anyway, we're going to move on to the front entrance and then to the inside. Looking at it front and center, we can see the nice iconic Hobbit hole door, and we can see a little spot out here where we could put Gandalf or Bilbo if we wanted. And this is of course another place where Gandalf's skirt element could come in handy. Now removing Gandalf, we can see that behind him we have some more of those printed details coming in. And one thing I did forget to mention is we do have another window over here on this side. It does not have those printed details, but it does look still pretty good. And without further ado, I think I've covered pretty much everything. Oh yeah, we do have these other printed tiles up here, these I don't know what they're called, but these other curved elements. And we have a microphone being used for the doorknob. I think that's a pretty smart move. And without further ado, I think I've covered everything. I think it's time to move to the inside. I'll get to the tree on the top later. Taking a look at the inside of Bag End, as soon as you're greeted, we can see those nice rope elements there being utilized for the curls on the door, and that's a pretty ingenious method, I'm not gonna lie. And over here, we can see a nice cup, and that is a little watch right there. We can see this little, I don't remember what these are called, candelabras maybe, and menorahs maybe. And we have the pen piece colored in white, and I think that's cool for the candles to be like dripping of the wax, and I think that's a pretty smart move. And looking at this chest right here, we can actually pull that out. Sorry guys. And sorry, it's not that easy to access, but if we do open it, we will find a little gold ingot there, and we'll also find the mithril shirt that has been in all three of the like giant Lord of the Rings sets as of recently. And that'd be a cool trend if it keeps continuing. But anyway, moving on, we have some nice printed tiles down here for the rug. That looks nice. And moving on to the other side, we can see a bear over here with a umbrella and a sword. I'm guessing that's Sting, because whenever Lego in Barad-dûr, they had a Sting, and it was that element. So because it's Bilbo's house, that's probably Sting. That's like 99% Sting, but who knows. Anyway, we have this little area right here, and we can, if I remove this section, which you can do, we can pull this out, and we can see that this is a nice little chest right here. And if you wanted, you can actually, with these little elements right here, you can actually take Gandalf's cape and you can place it there if you don't want it to get like bent on the cart or like a chair or anything. But anyway, we can go ahead and place that back over here. And turning to this other area over here, we have a little book nook. Sorry, I'm going to have to zoom out. That's better. Now, looking at this little area, we can see some nice logs in that corner. We can see a little pen right here. We have a chair for Mr. Bilbo to sit, and I'll put him in there in a second. But also on this little pedestal, it fell off. We have the There and Back Again copy. In Rivendell, it was brown. They've changed it to the more accurate red version. And we can see we have a nice stick. Well, it's a nice sticker, but should have been printed. And we have There and Back Again as a sticker inside. And we can place that there. Right here, I have to show this. Hold on. I'm going to be right back. This is my favorite Easter egg in this, and it is the deed of contract that Bilbo signs before he goes on the adventure with Thorin. I think that is pretty fun in this set, and it's definitely a necessary inclusion for Bag End because, of course, this is like the main location in both those movies. Well, it's not the main location, but it's like the starter location, you know. And we have another candle over here, and that's nice. And that chair, I promised I'll show you. You can put Bilbo in here because of the headlight bricks right there. You can just take him and you can sit him in those studs right there, and he looks pretty nice while he's writing his book. Our final section is the little den area, as I say, for the Hobbit hole. And as you can see, moving left to right, we have a little pile of envelopes right there. We have a table over here. We have some chairs, which I have built some brick built designs on, which I'll have a YouTube short out coming later. But anyway, we have those, and we have a teapot, and we also have this stickered element here. And it is the map of the Lonely Mountain. That is, of course, a reference to The Hobbit. At the window here, we can push those back, and then we can see Samwise Gamgee out front. And under the window, there is a bottle of alcohol, probably, if I had to guess. And then we also have a hedgehog element that has been unprinted and recolored, just left unprinted. And it looks like a pine cone, so I have to say, I think that's one of the best part usages I've seen for that piece. And looking over there, we have a little plant in a little corner. And turning the model here, we can see that we have some stickers for the models of Bilbo's parents, and we have a cheese on the mantelpiece. And looking down into the fireplace, we can see we have a letter, which is like halfway burnt, and if you turn this knob, it reveals the One Ring. I think that is definitely such a cool play feature, and it's definitely one that's going to be coveted by fans. Our last section is the tree on top of the Hobbit hole, and this one definitely looks better than the other tree in this set, but it's definitely not as good as it should have been. We have some technical elements to get some nice angles for these, and it's just a very generic tree, and as I showed you earlier, you can just lift off this little area so you can get better access into the Hobbit hole. So nothing much going on up here, but the one thing that I do like is we have a jumper plate there, and you can take a character like Frodo, and we can have him sit up here so he can be reading his book like we see at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring. Although it's not the red outfit, it's close enough. Overall, I think there's really not too much more that could be desired, except the following things. I wish that we had gotten a different face print for Samwise. I wish that we had gotten more of the Hobbit hole, because it's surprisingly deep, but there's just not that much there, and I feel like these little bits here are just the excuse to call it the Shire, because this alone, like everything over here, that's just Bag End. So I think that they really should just have not included this and made it just $200. It still would have been overpriced, but it would have been less overpriced. I mean, and those tree builds, I think that they should have been a lot much better for the price that LEGO charged for this. They really should have been better, and I don't really have too many more other complaints. The minifigures are definitely the highlight of the set, though, and of course Bag End, because no matter what, this is still the cheapest way to get Bag End, and LEGO knows this, so that's why it's so expensive. And because the other one, if you want that sealed or even used, it's like $200 or $300, so this one for $270, it's still pretty good, even though it's not perfect. Now, I think that's going to wrap up today's review, and without further ado, I'll see you all next time.